So we are going to cover the topic of magnesium. And before I go in and explain some magnesium, I'm going to do a few things that as a nurse you'll probably relate to, which is we're going to look at the symptoms that are common associated with low magnesium. And I'm just going to have you read these out loud as you look at some of the symptoms that are associated with low magnesium.
Okay, symptoms would be energy, concentration, feeling motivated, days of bowel movements, muscle cramps, headaches, back pain, neck pain, tremors, mood depressed, mood worried, memory, brain fog, grouchy mood.
Right, so we put a lot of moods in there, and I've put some places where you can see muscles twitching, which is what happens when people say, Doc, I got this eye twitch, it keeps coming back more often. You know, that eye muscle is a really tiny muscle, so it's kind of like the canary in the cave that it'll twitch. But other things like waking up in the middle of the night with a Charlie horse, that's a much bigger muscle group, but it's very associated with a fluctuation in magnesium. So have you heard about magnesium being low in the first couple weeks of keto? Is this something that you were aware of, or is this more your attention now that I'm bringing it up?
More attention to it now, absolutely.
Well, and the reason I put it in the class, and I really had a lot of time spent on magnesium, is because so many people go off the keto diet because they don't know about magnesium. They don't know how hard it is to catch up once they've gotten it low, and that they don't appreciate that it's really hard to overdose on magnesium. And I contend that the first step of people wanting to be keto, a big part of the people who do keto, they have this inflamed gut, and they've been leaking magnesium for a long time. And so they're right on the edge of a normal magnesium, meaning your kidneys won't and your bones won't put magnesium in the blood to a high level. They just get it above the minimum threshold. So with that leaking happening, that's going to be this hole that's leaking it all the time. And then that first week of keto, you flush a ton of fluid out of the body. And that fluid came from the serum. It's the serum going through the kidney that pulls out the electrolytes and the fluid. And you'll hear the naysayers of a keto diet saying, oh, you just lose that water weight. That's what that diet's all about, is water weight. And they're right that water weight is what's first in the weight loss of a keto diet. And in that water is a bunch of magnesium. When patients don't know about it, they give up. They're like, that diet wasn't for me. I got all these muscle cramps. I had a terrible headache. My heart was pounding away. I couldn't feel good. I got really depressed. My mood was terrible. And what they're talking about is their body leaked out a bunch of magnesium. They were like most people, which are right on the edge of a normal magnesium. So let me quiz you a little bit. What's a side effect of too much magnesium if you swallow a whole bunch at once?
Diarrhea.
Yeah. And the people who took advantage of that are our trusty friends who made milk of magnesia. It is great. It's over the counter. It's found in every gas station, and it's got magnesium in it. And when you take a swig of it, yeah, it'll flush you out. Okay, so the danger of magnesium is when you're trying to supplement it, it'll make your gut rumble when you put a lot in at once. So putting magnesium in is easy in that you can find, milk of magnesia is where I've landed. I've gone to lots of textbooks, read lots about magnesium, and the answer is cheap, effective, and you want to titrate it. So this is flavored, which I wouldn't recommend this experiment with flavored, but when people are low on magnesium, we're going to do some other things that I think are helpful for magnesium that really do get you ahead of the curve. But a maintenance magnesium is to take a non-flavored milk of magnesia and just put a capful in your water bottle. And you can't taste it, but it's just a dose of magnesium going in all the time. And again, it doesn't hurt you. If you're getting too much at once, you'll have it out the other end. But for the most part, milk of magnesia is cheap, easy, and safe. And the punchline to replacing magnesium is slow and steady amounts of magnesium into the patient. Most patients, after they start trying to figure out magnesium, they'll do their own solutions like, well, can't I just have foods with magnesium in them? And the truth is, it's hard to get that magnesium in your body because the magnesium in the foods came from the soil. And the soil today is really magnesium depleted. So as much as the textbook says that that green leafy vegetable has magnesium in it, it is completely dependent on the health of the soil that that green leaf was growing in. And most of today's produce is just so magnesium depleted. Some other ways are you can absorb it through your gut, but if your gut's leaky, you're going to be kind of chasing your tail with that one. And then there's two other ways that I actually enjoy more, and I find patients, when they add this to their life, a few other things get better with all these symptoms. In the spirit of helping people get healthier, keto diet can show you how to eat less, and then you fill up your time with a whole bunch more things, right? Because you will have lesser amounts of meals, you'll have lesser meals, lesser volume in the meal and fewer times that you're eating, and people say, I just get so much more done. And I tell them, well, as long as you're taking some downtime, the processing is important for preventing depression, anxiety, and some of these other mood things, and they're linked to magnesium. So I teach magnesium and the mood things at the same time. And one of those is a magnesium bath. And so magnesium is one of the few elements you can't absorb through the skin. I thought that was fake news, but it turns out to be true, actually. So Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate, and that's pretty easy, cheap, and safe. The other way that you can get magnesium, though, is magnesium chloride. Just from patient reviews and some of the stuff I've read, the magnesium chloride tends to feel like it helps the symptoms more, but I couldn't find any evidence behind that. I've used both, and I can just always find the Epsom salt, the magnesium sulfate. So I went to using this for a while, but I just couldn't keep it in supply. And so I ended up with, most of the time when I do a bath, it's Epsom salt. And so these three charts are using Epsom salt to show you the difference. And I actually have the Epsom foot soak that I use when I'm doing my writing. And you fill up a bucket of water, and then I actually put a couple of bags in the foot, because you want it really concentrated, because you're only exposing 10% of your skin. So you want the highest amount of salt touching your skin, and then it's time. It'll stay warm for like a couple hours, like 90 minutes of me writing, before it gets cool enough that I need to reheat the water. So the benefit of the foot soak is you don't have to keep changing the water. It's always there as long as you've got the process set up somewhere in your life. It's kind of a nice little relaxation.
Nice little hack.
Yeah, it is. So if you sat here doing homework and your feet were under there, nobody would probably know, but it feels good. The limitations are you only have 10% of your body exposed to the salt. So it's going to take a long time to get a lot in. So it's a little bit of magnesium. But if that's all you got, your feet feel warm and you get some magnesium in. The next one is that you create a bath. And again, I at least put one whole bag I put a 5-pound bag into the bathtub, and you heat it up with warm water. And this time you sink into the armpits, but you want to stay there for like 40 minutes. I tell people that's a minimum time to give your body the chance to get enough magnesium in. So this is the part where it slows the patient down a little. It puts in a break of life, and you're in a nice warm bath and you just meditate a little for slowing down. The downside is you put that much water in only 5 pounds of salt, it's kind of dilute. So you can double the salt, but eventually you're going to see I keep running out of salt. Mm-hmm. And that's what takes me to the float spa, which is, again, I think it's like 1,500 pounds of salt they put in each of that. And then the salt is the salinity, like the Dead Sea, where people float. Mm-hmm. But that is, again, a high mineralized water, and similar to Epsom salt, lots of magnesium in it, and you can float. You really do just float. Be careful not to get any of it in your eye, because it's really salty. You'll never do it twice. But there, 1 hour in a magnesium float is such high concentration, and it is amazing when you come out of there. It's like you're drunk. It's like you're just euphorically disconnected from the world. So I can't wait for you to experience it, because it's too hard to put into words. But once you've done it, you'll tell everybody, you just need to go for one of these floats. You just need to go for one of these floats. And I'm a busy mom, practice, writing a book. When I need a vacation wrapped up in an hour, I go to get a float. You pull that pod closed so there's no light. I turn off the sound, and usually I have earplugs in so the salt doesn't get in my ear canals, which doesn't hurt if it gets in, but it just is another way to block out noise. So you have no light, no sound, and then you're floating, so nothing's touching you. And I go in my birthday suit, so it's crazy. You just escape, and you're alone with your thoughts, and I like it. So
I'm excited.
Yeah, I think I'm looking forward to hearing what you think.
Yeah.
So let's go show you how to do a bath, though.
Okay.
That's easy, and that's at home.
Okay.
Okay, so here's some things that I've learned through the years, and that is, don't be stingy on the salt. I take a whole bag of it, and I pour it in the bathtub. I run the bath, and then when I'm done with it, I tell my family, there's an Epsom salt bath if you want to go soak. It's amazing how it can help anybody in the family, and it's been happening for generations for a reason. So here's how I do it. All right, so I take a bag, and I put all of it in the...
I have never done that. Usually it's a scoop or two.
Well, and if you think about it, you're trying to replace magnesium, so it's the concentration of the water that matters how well it's going to penetrate and get into the body. So then I say, okay, one bag, and then I just start the hot water only to get it nice and warm before I get it but that way the dissolve happens of the salt, and then I stay there for at least 40 minutes. That's the real ticket, is you don't want to be stingy about the time in the bathtub. You want to have a long time, and you want it to be as much salt as you've got around, and let it do its job. I pushed on the drain extra hard so it wouldn't drain. All right, you get the best hour of the day. You get to have a magnesium bath, and we'll see how you feel afterwards.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Reporting back to you after my Epsom salt bath. Just finished up with that. I was in there for about 45 minutes or so. Definitely a little bit longer than 40 minutes. All day today I've fought with just a small tinge of a headache. Probably about a 3 or 4 on the pain scale. 0 to 10, 10 being the worst. I'd say now it's just a very mild, maybe a 1, if that. Definitely that feels better. I must say I'm surprised. I was a little bit of a skeptic with that, but there's some true science behind it that after you hear Dr. Boz explain it, it makes a lot of sense. And I have since checked my blood pressure again, and as you can see, 142/81, so moving in the right direction. It's kind of been all over the place. What else I've noticed is the tension. I carry stress in my shoulders and in my upper back, and sometimes even lower back because I have some issues there. But I notice that feels relaxed, and it's been a long time since I have sat still for 40 minutes with nothing to do, and I found myself fidgeting with my phone, calling people, and I finally just had to say, you know what, just relax, enjoy the moment, because these moments are few and far between, because I'm still in the process of moving, and so that has definitely been a stress, on top of just life things in general. So, but I feel that has relaxed. Yeah, so I can tell a difference there. I've not dealt with any muscle cramps as of yet. In previous journeys with keto, the little bit of time that I've been doing that before this journey, I do remember waking up with cramps in the past, so I'm hoping to stave those off this time. So stay tuned, and I'll keep you updated.